You walked right, no, sir.
Don't touch me.
Look, at the end of the day, I have a job to do.
Right.
Okay?
Do it.
You cannot record
I didn't
the
go in
office. What I'm telling you is that you cannot record the mayor or the
hell
secretary.
The hell I can't.
Okay?
I'm doing it right now.
I'm here doing my job.
Are you all set?
No, I'm just gonna take some more pictures of this door and I'll be on my way eventually.
All right, well, I appreciate it if you just hurry up with that. And that's inside the. That's inside.
I know. I'm not going inside.
Yeah,
you can't trespass my eyes.
Back up, please.
You can't trespass
Back up,
my
please.
eyes. Why?
Please leave. Make an appointment. Come back another day.
Please leave is a
Leave
different
the
thing.
building now, or you will be arrested. Fair enough.
Trespass from public building.
Mr. Perry, yourself, you were involved in a whistleblower incident where you uncovered your own corruption and found other people in this area massively corrupt. And I just found, man, you guys are like the seventh and eighth wonder of the world with Niagara Falls.
Sir, did you read the speaker notes?
My name is Dan, Erie County, and I'm here to talk about government transparency. And to be quite frankly honest, I come down here to film this meeting and talk during the public speaking, but my head's spinning watching government transparency. I got a board member of the council begging for some transparency, and to me it looks like none of y'all give a crap. Trash, absolute trash. I'm speaking right now, Chairman.
That's a point
I'm
of
Chairman, I'm speaking right
That's
now.
a point of order. That is a
I'm
point of
speaking
order.
right now.
You're violating
Free
the
speech.
rules. No, there is no free speech.
No.
Officers, would you remove this man, please?
Yeah, remove a man for free speech. That shows the public what you believe in.
How you doing?
People of Niagara Falls.
You guys can honor your oath too, to the Constitution.
Okay.
Listen, y'all, these kids want to act up in school, want to go to school and embarrass you, want to make like they got no home training. So I told my son, don't go to school embarrassing no more. I'll take care of you, son. I give you anything you want. I discipline you. But you're going to embarrass me like this? No, so now I'm going to cut his hair.
Oh, I gotta ask you,
With all of it.
Now I saw you were in a restricted area. Now I want your identification. You're not getting it.
Don't embarrass me. I told him, don't embarrass me. No.
Alright, Erie County Fam, we're down here today. It's a bit windy. Hopefully my mic is good. We're down here at Niagara City Hall to go to a city council meeting and hold them accountable for violations of First Amendment rights on a few levels, such as kicking me out for video recording the mayor's office and for not allowing certain people to speak at a public meeting because people use words that they didn't like. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Do I sign in?
You can see, fam, we're definitely signed in as Dan Erie County, residency of Erie County, and we're here to talk about government transparency, or the lack thereof. And then you got the rules for speaking right here. Your name is?
Janine Yellow.
Janine. All right, and now, what exactly went down last meeting that happened so that we can hold the government accountable for violations of the First Amendment?
I've been coming here for 6 months on an issue, and I've been ignored. On the down low, Jim Perry, the councilman, was emailing us on his private email and calling on his private phone and telling us step by step what to say to get an RFP. So I would go to that podium and actually do what he told me to do. And then all of a sudden he's had meetings with the mayor and they don't want this RFP, so now I just can't speak.
So you write your name on this list and you're saying they'll probably
They did
not call you up?
Yeah, they're not gonna call me again. They told me I can't speak until June 1st, that it's a privilege. It's not my right.
It's not a right to speak to the council.
Right, it's a privilege.
And you're a resident here in Niagara Falls?
No, but I have a business in Niagara County.
You have a business, so technically
I'm gonna be
you're-
opening
you
a
pay-
business
you
in
definitely pay
I'm
property
going to
taxes on
be.
businesses.
It'll be opening soon.
All right. So we'll definitely get to the bottom and expose it and
You know,
hold
but
everybody accountable.
if the RFP was, if they did the right thing, we wouldn't be here.
Right.
But,
All right, thanks a lot for speaking.
thank you.
Rules is brand new today, huh?
Yeah,
That's never been here before?
no. Have you ever seen the rules?
There was something there.
It wasn't that.
But I
would have
don't know
noticed.
if it was that much writing.
No, and I mean, I was sitting there the one time, they crossed her, the pit chick that this issue's about, they went up to the thing and crossed her name out, and we had to fight with her to let her speak. She's like, well, how do I know you didn't cross your name? Why would she cross her name
Yeah,
out?
they're playing stupid
Then
games
one
with
time
words.
she went up there and they turned the speaker off.
So as you guys can all clearly see, her name, my name, Act Now Media is on there. So if they want to claim it's not on there, it's going to be a tough claim to claim.
A couple weeks ago, and the guy was reading the magazine. I went to the clerks to check on the foils. I went on the elevator. I thought the mayor's office was upstairs. I came down the stairs. He was still, I walked right in the mayor's office. They died. He wouldn't come out. He was like, how did you get in here? He was like crying in his office, and I was screaming through the door.
This wasn't here when you did that?
No, but the cop was sitting there. He never asked me anything.
Don't let the people upstairs is a little ridiculous because this building belongs to the people.
Not according to here.
Total horseshit. This place is as corrupt as it gets.
Well,
It's such a beautiful building.
She
I don't
packs
like
his friends outside of here with him. They go out to dinner and stuff with the mayor. Sajak, the guy at the end, he does whatever anybody says. Archie's okay, and Miles is the best. I don't know where Perry went, and she's corrupt. She's actually like the fourth law clerk. She just hangs up on you when she doesn't like what you're asking her. And she hired this girl, Shamika. The first day she hung up on us. And she laughed. She was in here when they told us to sit down, she was laughing.
Order. Mr. Dave. Call the roll. We'll begin with we have public speakers on the legislative items.
And one speaker for our legislative agenda items, and that would be Vincent Cawley.
Illustrious council, appreciate you coming, appreciate you here, thanks for the opportunity. Just real quick, on all of them, really, just general questions in regards to agenda item number 1. I didn't see any supporting documents on the website, so I'm just curious, what was the reorganization? And is this, I'm assuming this is the same parking lot that city ran? I didn't see any supporting documents on the website, so I'm just curious, what was the reorganization? And is this, I'm assuming this is the same parking lot that city ran? Was there more details regarding this restructuring, reorganization regarding this $3 move? Were there people fired? Was someone removed, demoted? Anything to that nature? Be curious about that. In regards to item number 2, it seemed like there was an RFP. I guess what were the metrics that we decided to go with AMD? Number 1. Number 2, are they performing testing, or are they removing asbestos, or are they testing for asbestos? I would be curious to know what exactly are we paying them to do, what this agreement is, the execution of it. I didn't see that in any supporting document. Choose them. Was there a matrix of awarding this contract to them? And then finally, lastly, number 3, again, it seemed like we went through an RFP process to get this contract to go to M2. Now, I know I've asked around, because we did a moving, we hired someone for the plumbing, and we didn't do a contract for the plumbing, but I'm curious as to why we're doing a contractor for the forestry. Is it just so many problems that we need to have a contractor? Does that not go for the plumbing as well? And how was this service picked? Was there a matrix or metrics to pick this tree removal service? I'd be just glad to know more information as to how these awards were given and how these vendors were selected. Thank you, Council.
I want to review, for the benefit of the council and the listening public, the hierarchy of rules that govern the council. And just to give you a preview of where I'm headed, it is to explain the basis in law for our chairperson to control the decorum of our meetings. With that said, I want to just state at the beginning, at the top of the hierarchy governing this council are laws, and those are the federal laws and state laws. That also includes the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, and the New York State Constitution. It also includes laws like Public Officers Law and the Open Meetings Law. Now, many people in the audience, and I'm sure many of you have heard of the Open Meetings Law, and you're generally familiar with it. I do want to point out that none of those laws that I just mentioned, including the constitutions, require any legislative body, whether at the village level, town level, city level, or higher. None of those laws require these legislative bodies in New York to permit people other than members to speak at meetings. The fact that we do, in the city of Niagara Falls, allow members of the public to speak on agenda items and at the end of the meeting for good of the community is because the council made that choice many years ago. And below the laws, this body is governed by the corporate charter. The city charter, which was revised in 2018 and has been updated from time to time since then. After that, just below the corporate charter, are rules of order that govern this body. Rules of order can be special rules of order created by this council. And I just want to point out that an example of a special rule of order is the instructions at the end of every agenda, including tonight's agenda, which reads, note for public speakers. And there's probably a dozen bullet points. And what that is a summary of a resolution that the City Council passed in January of 2020. And many public speakers are familiar with it, some are not. I will shorten this up by just pointing out that the very last bullet of that special rule of order, states the chairman will enforce these rules. That means that all the rules stated above that bullet point are for the chairman to enforce. And that was a decision made by a prior city council, and it still stands. Just as important as that special rule are parliamentary rules of authority. Now, I mentioned the corporate charter a minute ago, and that's relevant because it's the city charter which establishes that this body is governed by Robert's Rules of Order. I'll finish up by just giving you a sampling of relevant excerpts from Robert's Rules of Order that address the subjects of governing discipline at meetings and the removal of individuals who violate rules of order, rules of conduct. In section 61:6, of Robert's Rules, it establishes that this council, quote, has the right to determine who may be present at its meetings and to control its hall while meetings are in progress, end quote. Section 61:7 tells us, quote, non-members, and by the way, that's a reference to audience members. You folks at the front of the room are members of the council, so non-members refers to audience members. I'll start over. Quote, non-members can be excluded at any time from part or all of a meeting, or from all of its meetings. Such exclusion can be effected by a ruling of the chair in cases of disorder, or by the adoption of a rule on the subject, or by an appropriate motion as the need arises. So there are three different ways that disorder can be addressed by this body. It starts out with the chair. Now, in a hypothetical situation, let's imagine that the chair does not take action when there's a disruption in the chamber. That last phrase that I read tells the rest of you that you could also take matters into your own hand to bring order to this room by making an appropriate motion as the need arises. I also point out, in the middle of those two provisions is the ability to adopt a rule on the subject. And as I've already pointed out to you, in 2020, the council, in January of 2020, did just that with the adoption of its rules governing public speaking in this forum. Section 61:8 of Robert's Rules states, quote, all persons present at a meeting have an obligation to obey the legitimate orders of the presiding officer, end quote. Section 61:19, which addresses the removal of individuals who break the rules, states, quote, an assembly, meaning this council, has the right to protect itself from annoyance by non-members, and its full authority in this regard can be exercised by the chair acting alone. The chair has the power to require non-members to leave the hall or to order the removal at any time during the meeting, and the non-members have no right of appeal from such an order of the presiding officer. That's period, end quote. That reference to an appeal is a reference to a parliamentary appeal, meaning that a non-member cannot make a motion to this body appealing the decision of the chair. Section 61:20 states, quote, if a person, whether a member or not of the assembly, refuses to obey the order of proper authority to leave the hall during the meeting, the chair should take necessary measures to see that order is enforced, end quote. And finally, section 61:21 of Robert's Rules contemplates that any legislative body in New York that follows Robert's Rules has the authority to request police or security service to be present during a meeting to help maintain order. And that's what Robert's Rules says, and this body is governed by Robert's Rules. And that is the end of my presentation this evening.
Thank you, Mr. DeVoy. I appreciate that.
Number two, let's keep it going. Going to Robert Rules of Order, I've looked at the Robert Rules, I've looked at the Foundation of Freedom, we got the Constitution, we have the Declaration of Independence, we have the Bill of Rights, we have the open meeting laws, we have the rules here. None of these rules still say that people can be banned from speaking. If we go to Robert's Rules of Order 61.6, which I will continue, a society has the right to determine who may be present at its meetings and to control its halls while meetings are in progress, but all members have the right to attend except in cases where the bylaws provide for the automatic suspension of members, etc., etc. This is for pertaining to if we were the Elk Society, if we were the fishing club. This isn't for a public meeting, so that doesn't pertain to this. So the Constitution says we have the right to petition our government. So therefore, the rules, and if you want to make a rule to ban them, there's no rules on here that says the speaker, the council can ban anyone from speaking. You can enforce the rules of council, but as far as banning people from speaking, if you want to make that rule would have to follow Robert Rules of Order. You have to make that rule and say, the sentence doesn't ban people.
We're not here for a debate. Question number 2. May I get a motion, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move the council vote to approve the contract award to AMD Environmental Consultants, Inc. as the successful bidder relative to the city's 2024 environmental testing asbestos consultant services contract, and authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with such vendor as more fully outlined in his recommendation memo dated May 2nd, 2024.
Okay, may I get a second for that, please? David, second. Okay, information request?
Yes, is there, because it's the same question that Mr. Crawley had, is there going to be asbestos removal? Is there a list of address that we're looking at in regards to this? I mean, we're looking at nearly $250,000 for consulting and testing. How many homes, where are these homes located? Because none of that information has been placed in our
The dollar amount is, that's a lot of money. Someone, I think, wondered about how is the bid advertised? There is a New York State approved website for all bids, and the engineering department used it. It complies with the city's requirement to advertise the bids. There were a number of companies that showed an interest in the contract, but when it came down to the final moment, only one company bid. So in terms of what was the metrics for making the decision to award the contract to, when you only have one bidder, they are the successful bidder. There wasn't a choice between 2, 3, 5, a dozen. So that was the metric used to choose AMD, sole bidder.
I feel like this just lacks detail, so, I mean, you know.
If you have any other questions?
I don't have any questions for him. I mean, I just feel like it lacks detail. I feel like it, you know, when we're looking at $250,000 to be spent, you know, and yes, of course, it's coming through the community development funds. But if we're not, I feel like when we're talking these, you know, amounts of dollars to be spent, there should be more detail. I feel like there should, like, okay, well, is there a list of homes that, you know, are...
There's no list of homes. There's no list of homes. There's no list of homes.
Okay, thank you. So, again, so there is no list of homes that's showing, you know, $250,000 worth of work within the next year for testing, not going in and removing asbestos for a building to become cold, but for just testing. So for me, it's like it's lacking the details for $250,000. I mean, if you're saying, hey, this is, you know, we want to test, you know, a few homes, and we have a list of homes that we want to test, and we want to do that for this amount of dollars, then it makes more sense. I'm like, okay, this is, you know, however, it's lacking details. So I guess, okay,
That's correct.
A better question for me to ask is about the metrics. So if this testing requires a specific type of test, did they provide us any type of documentation that says, this is how much this is going to cost? If we do this service for you, this is going to cost X amount of dollars. Because it's not showing in here. That's the only thing I'm saying. Y'all see how small this is? This is a paragraph. So I don't want to make it seem like my question is like weird.
There's a whole contract specification book that I can share with you. You want to take a recess, we can do that. It's lengthy, but you're welcome to look at it.
I mean, but it's the last minute, so that's unfair to us.
What I'm saying to you is that if you'd like to review it, we can take a recess and we can review it.
Is this time sensitive?
Well, I think I just said that there is no contractor working for the city contractor.
Right, but is it time sensitive?
It is if there's a building that needs to be demolished soon. Yes.
I mean, I see it's a building, I'm quite sure that's being demolished probably.
Well, this contract covers city-owned property that gets demolished, and, you know, it's a liability. It's a liability.
Here's my thought, and I'm done after this. If it's not like time sensitive, because the information that you're offering me now at the very last minute should have probably been given to us a long time ago. So I would say that we should table this, and we should be able to read this so we can see exactly what services cost what amount of dollars, and, you know, because again, it's just lacking, and I have to vote from here, and I have to vote from here, and I have to vote from here.
All I'm saying, if I had received your request before today, I could have gotten it to you before today.
Not a problem. So that's why I say, let's table it, and then we can actually read the documentation, and then we can, you know, make a very educated decision, and not just things be brought
or we could recess and you can review the specs.
Or we can recess and read a lengthy documentation and try to, like, get all of that in our head in a matter of like 10 minutes.
Well, you said you wanted to see the pricing for a particular task, and that's what the specifications would provide.
Is it easy? I mean, I guess
it's a lot of pages. You would have to read through.
I can't understand it, but if you want to make a motion,
I make a motion to table it. Is this the time I can do it now?
You can. Is there a second?
All right. The motion is to table it. Motion is the table, do we get a second? Second? Okay, we'll go back to the original motion. We have a second on the original motion.
Mr. Chairman, ask if there's a request for debate. Any in opposition?
Any opposition?
You already know. I just,
We have a debate on it.
y'all want to debate some more? I got more ready if you want. I think I said enough. I think, if we're gonna, make decisions and when there's more information that we can actually sink our teeth into and we just choose not to do it and we're gonna vote yes, then we do it that way. But I'm not.
I understand that, what we're voting for is a bank, it's a bank account.
That's why you're not the chairman.
Please call the roll, please.
Councilmember Vance,
This is the third year we have voted on this type of allocation, and operationally, it does make sense to have the allocation available so we can address the situations as we have in the past 3 years, and I vote yes.
Councilmember Miles,
No.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Council Chairperson Perry.
Yes.
3 yeas, 1 nay.
Motion adopted. Okay, that brings us to the end of the legislative items. Now we're moving on to the speakers for the good of the community. And let me just remind you of the good of the community. This is the area where we will speak, speakers will speak to the council as a body, not to engage in conversation or debate. It's not for personal grievances. If any one of my colleagues calls point of order, it'll be stopped. The time will not be recessed. The time will not be paused. The time will continue to tick. There's a set of rules on the back of the notes for speakers pursuant to resolution adopted 2010 of January 15th. We expect that you will abide by those rules. As the council had referred to at the beginning of this meeting, these rules will be strictly adhered to. Okay, Elizabeth, call the first person, please.
Next speaker I have is Dan.
I think you skipped over me. I'm with Acknow Media. I was number 3. On that.
I'm sorry, yes.
That's all right. I got you. It's okay. How you guys doing today? I'm with a company called Acknow Media. We investigate accountability, consistency, and transparency in government bodies. Me personally, I think the government is a criminal organization in which you guys are selected by the powers that be to carry the status quo in water for the jobs program. You give them raises, you appoint them, you get them to sign contracts, you give them kickbacks if they get you in office. Recently I was sent an article, and I'll tell you guys what. Niagara Falls, you guys are something else. You guys should take Niagara Falls out of your logo there and make it a handcuffs, because from the car to the area here, I Googled Niagara Falls politician investigation, and like 30 articles came from your mayor in 2010 getting arrested, to the HUD, refunding HUD $1.5 million for misappropriation of funds, for crimes of the Housing Authority, for crimes of code enforcement, for failed deals with contractors, misappropriation of funds. Mr. Perry, yourself, you were involved in a whistleblower incident where you uncovered your own corruption and found other people in this area massively corrupt. And I just found, man, you guys are like the 7th and 8th wonder of the world. With
Sir, did you read the speaker notes?
Oh yeah, I did.
Address the entire council, no individual.
All right, so they were involved in a whistleblowing situation, and it was admirable. You found corruption. Good for you. So I sent an article that talks about not allowing people to speak at these meetings and relying on Robert's rules, and I'm wondering, why would you guys do that? I feel like the faith in public from any faith in any elected official coming out of Niagara Falls is broken. I mean, this is a history of fraud, misappropriation of funds, abuse, theft, criminality. Someone says, I don't know when it became okay in our society to reward bad behavior. I would argue paying your taxes to the city of Niagara Falls rewards bad behavior. Corruption, fraud, your police department has a handful of false arrests and police brutality lawsuits against you. I mean, you guys are wasting taxpayer dollars at an astounding rate with just massive lawsuits and fraud and corruption. So I would argue with you guys and tell you that instead of turning people away and not letting them speak, maybe work on building the public's trust in you guys. And you guys have one hell of a job ahead of you because, quite frankly, again, I Googled Niagara Falls corruption and whew, there's more articles about that than the falls themselves. You guys, you guys are great at that. Another thing I'd like to point out was says it's a privilege to speak in front of this board. It's a privilege and not a right to speak in front of you guys. And I think that says the quiet part out loud, that it's not a privilege to serve the people that put you there because the people didn't put you there. A committee picked you guys, their people campaigned for you guys, and they decided that's who's going to win the election. And it's your job to hold water for them. But I'll tell you what, as I sit here in front of you guys, I'm feeling it, man. The privilege of being in front of you has healed my shoulder. I dislocated my shoulder recently. Now that I'm here, in front of your presence, graced by the Almighty, I feel healed. How's your eyesight? How's your eyesight? If anyone has some man in glasses back there, maybe you can come pop him on his head and heal him. The blind shall see, being graced by the presence of you, the Almighty Niagara Falls Council. Can we get an amen from the people in the crowd? Amen. Now, really, all jokes aside, you guys want a popularity contest, and you guys have a choice. And Mr. Miles, you are doing a great job holding people accountable, being a leader.
Amen.
The faith in you guys is at an all-time low because, quite frankly, you guys have pumped out nothing but corruption, fraud, and other crap. You guys have a choice. Start rebuilding the public's trust, or don't. I don't care. I win either way. You guys start doing a better job. We have better government. We have better people. The people are happy. They're happier to pay your tax dollars. Or you don't, and I can propagandize, radicalize, and destabilize people against the government. I don't care. I believe the government is a criminal organization, and the actions of you guys have done nothing but prove it's true. So you guys have a choice. Allow me to win or do a better job. The choice is yours, and that's why I'm here, to give you guys an option. Whatever you choose, someone will win. Good luck. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dan, Erie County, it says.
My name is Dan, Erie County, and I'm here to talk about government transparency. And to be quite frankly honest, I come down here to film this meeting and talk during the public speaking, but my head's spinning watching government transparency. I got a board member of the council begging for some transparency, and to me it looks like none of y'all give a crap, except for Mr. Miles, but my problem is transparency in government is the most American thing there is. And I'm not seeing anything American about Niagara Falls. Whether it be the building itself locked down from the public.
You can't just, you just can't go up to the floor.
Well, you can't go to the assessor's office?
What's that?
Can't go to the assessor's office?
I have to call them down for you.
What's that?
I have to call them down for you.
Why is that?
It's just a procedure here.
Like, you guys own this place. I'm here to remind you all that this building belongs to the public. Those dollars that you're spending belong to the public. All right? You guys are entrusted to do work for the public, and the only one up here, there's only one member up here who's working for the public. The rest of you guys, I mean, I got a member up here, members up here, they don't even look up when people are talking to them in the beginning of this meeting. I mean, you can tell that the board doesn't give a shit less about the public, all right? It is true that you guys don't have to, by law, allow people to speak at these public meetings. But when you take that away, it shows the public that you don't care. When you limit what people can say up here or who can speak, this is a constitutional violation. Law number 1 of this country is the First Amendment. I'm a First Amendment auditor. I've been down to this building and trespassed for taking pictures of the mayor's office. Illegally trespassed, lawsuit worthy. This building locked down from the public, why the public can't freely walk through their building, shows that you guys don't care about the public. This building needs to be reopened to the public. These signs out here, authorized personnel beyond this point. Authorized personnel is your boss. The public is your boss. You guys seem to have forgotten that. There's only one member on this board that didn't seem to forget that during this meeting, and I appreciate Mr. Miles. But the rest of you, shitbags. Trash. Absolute trash. I'm speaking right now, Chairman.
That's a point
Chairman, I'm speaking right now.
That's a point of order.
I'm speaking right now.
Violating
Free
the
speech.
rules. No, there is no free speech.
No, there's not in this communist nation of Niagara Falls, is there?
Sir, that is a point of order. We have rules. Just because you want to be ignorant and bait, you know, that's what you're doing. Everybody here knows what you're doing.
It's funny you speak about ignorance.
Yeah.
You forget who you work for is the people. There's nothing more ignorant than the chairman up here. You're complete ignorant.
You can vote.
You hear that, folks? He says you can vote him out. That's his opinion. You know, you guys are trash. Mr. Miles should be the chairman up here running this board. Absolutely.
Officers, would you remove this man, please?
Yeah, remove a man for free speech. That shows the public what you believe in.
That's right. We know your type.
Yeah, you know my type, holding government accountable, and you don't like it because you shine the light on you little cockroaches.
That shows what you're like, sir.
Yeah. It does. It shows that I'm here to hold the government accountable. There is no accountability on it. There is no transparency in government. Mr. Miles got a bag to see where the money's going. You guys are shit.
How you doing?
People of Niagara Falls.
You guys can honor your oath too, to the Constitution.
Okay.
So I'm gonna finish my 1 minute unless these cops here behind me decide to dishonor their oath to the Constitution. And my voice is big enough that it doesn't need a microphone. All right, my voice is big enough to be heard. It's going to be heard worldwide.
Put it on Facebook. Go ahead.
I'm going to list it. I'm going to list it on Facebook, and the people are going to redress their grievances. Also, a First Amendment right.
The people of Niagara Falls know what you are.
Exactly. The people of Niagara Falls know who you are. So shut my microphone off. Call some armed thugs who seem to be earning my respect because they are not violating my rights. But I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I do appreciate you guys not removing me. I'm gonna sit down and. You guys are a joke.
Our next speaker is Vincent Cawley.
Wow.
I don't get to speak. I signed it. I signed it.
As you can see, Erie County Fam, Janine and Tanya both signed up to speak during public speaking, and the council has limited who can speak and what they can say, violations of the First Amendment. And if you do remember, the guy on the bottom here, Vincent, is the one who spoke about Robert's Law, and there is no rule saying that they can limit who can attend the meetings and who can speak, because if they allow public speaking, they cannot discriminate who can and cannot speak. That would be a violation of the First Amendment. If they're going to limit who can speak, they must limit everybody, not just who they decide can speak. As also known, criticizing your government is a First Amendment right. The city council here is absolutely out of control with their authority, perceived authority, but one thing is for sure, those cops did honor their oath and not remove the Erie County Fam for freedom of speech. And the chairman, as you see sitting in his chair, is not happy about it.
So, hello, illustrious council. Again, going back to one of the agenda items that I was thinking of, if we've signed that, speaking of transparency, if we've signed that contract for the past 3 years, that's $750,000. A good assignment would be how much of that money we've spent in the past, how many times have we hit that ceiling? And if we haven't hit that ceiling, how come the ceiling wasn't lowered? And if we didn't, just getting that accountability from the past 2 years, how much money have we actually spent of that? So that's one. Number two, let's keep it going. Going to our rules of order, I've looked at the Robert rules, I've looked at the Foundation of Freedom, we have the Constitution, we have the Declaration of Independence, we have the Bill of Rights, we have the open meeting laws, we have the rules here. None of these rules still say that people can be banned from speaking. If we go to Robert's Rules of Order 61.6, which I will continue, a society has the right to determine who may be present at its meetings and to control its halls while meetings are in progress, but all members have the right to attend except in cases where the bylaws provide for the automatic suspension of members, etc., etc. This is for pertaining to if we were the Elk Society, if we were the fishing club. This isn't for a public meeting, so that doesn't pertain to this. So the Constitution says we have the right to petition our government. So therefore, the rules, and if you want to make a rule to ban them, there's no rules on here that says the speaker, the council can ban anyone from speaking. You can enforce the rules of council, but as far as banning people from speaking, if you want to make that rule would have to go, that rule would have to follow Robert Rules of Order. You have to make that rule and say, hey, the speaker can ban people.
We're not here for a debate. State what you need to say. You can state the rule. You can state what you want to state. Just state what you want to state.
I love you too, Chairman.
Go ahead. I will listen to.
So what are professional services?
I will listen to what you want to say.
Give me my time. Give me my time.
Just state what you want to state, but we're not going to debate.
I don't think he's attacking. He's not attacking anyone. I think that's for me.
Well, you still have to get applause. That's 20 seconds I should get. 28 seconds.
You do not believe what you can state what you don't want to believe, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Question. I mean, because at the end of the day, I can see if he was attacking someone personally, like we had mentioned earlier in the rule, but he's actually expressing something that is considered for him for the good of the community, because it's, trying to help, bring, that level of transparency or whatever it is. And to cut him off, I think that was uncalled for.
We're not debating.
But he's not debating. He's actually just giving us some information, and I think we should sit back and listen to it at least.
I'm listening. I told him I'm listening to what he said.
But you have to cut him off and do so.
We're not going to debate. Go ahead, Vincent. Go ahead. Because I respect you, but go ahead.
Let's get low. Let's get fast. What are professional services? Professional services are non-physical products or services that individuals or companies provide to customers to help them manage or improve a specific area of their businesses. This is a rhetorical question for Councilman Miles. Do you consider your dogs to be non-physical products? People behind me, do you consider your animals to be non-physical products?
No.
Therefore, that's not a professional service that we're doing this picture. We're redoing DPW's building. That's not a professional service. That should have gone to an RFP. And she lied on her credentials. Therefore, it's not a professional service. If you want some more examples of what a professional service would be, computer science, IT, security, management. If you want to go legal, marketing, web development and design, software development, user experience and development, user interaction, finance, planning and advising, those will be considered professional services, ladies and gentlemen, non-physical products. We have dogs who the contract says, wait a minute, just in case these are imaginary dogs, I know there's a movie called If. This agreement says the pit chick shop will provide all the above described facilities and services for up to 17 dogs per month. Those are real dogs, not imaginary dogs, not non-physical dogs, not metaphysical dogs. Those are actual beings, entities. 17 dollars, they were paying $20,000 a month. Therefore, this definitely should have gone to RFP. But since we're going to stay with that, there's another municipality that may also be in Niagara County, starts with the L, it's on the other side of the county. They also put out a request for a proposal. This city, referred to here as a city, is seeking proposals from qualified organizations to provide dog sheltering services within the city limits. Look, and they outline that RFP: background, scope of work, term of contract, evaluation criteria, etc., etc. They want their applicants to fulfill all this work. How come we're not doing this? Does Lockport have more dogs than Niagara Falls? I submit to you, no, it does not. We have the records from the SPCA to verify that. So why RFP? Of course it should have been done. Let's continue on. As we go back to this contract, We talked about compensation before. In the event that the population of seized dogs housed in the shelter shall anytime exceed 18, the city clerk or her designee shall have the right to conduct spot audits of Pit Chick's business records and shelter during business hours. My submission to the council, have we asked our city clerk to get the records from Pit Chick? We have access to those records at all times. There's a click of a button. It's called the Ginger system. Have we asked for the records of the Pit Chick? Have. I submit to you, that's one of our homework assignments. That's what we should do, ladies and gentlemen. I have a lot more, but thanks to discrepancies, I'll be out here, but let's get the DCO involved too. Where's the DCO? We're gonna move the fireworks to put the dog people in there? Come on, we can do better than this. Thank you.
I'm a grassroots. I'm a regular dude that know regular issues, and I
we need
fight
four more
hard.
of you. We need 4 more of you
Yeah,
up here.
that would be beautiful.
Niagara Falls is on a bad path.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for me is, you know, instead of continuously doing the same thing, practicing insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, thinking that something different is gonna, you keep rubbing the same 2 quarters on the table and thinking that it's gonna turn into $1 at some point. It's not gonna happen if you don't ask questions. Same thing concerning this $150 million project the mayor wants to, you know, I have questions. I have questions, and if you don't got answers, then I'm voting against it. But it's unfortunate you got to have a majority vote overall. So for me, it's tough. It's tough. I got 2 kids, and I'm not really excited about their future here. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I'm not. And that's public. That's very public. That's on record. I'm not. That's why I fight the way I do. It's the way I go as hard as I go because Dahlia and Dylan, they live here. I bought my house. I own my home. I chose to have my kids be vulnerable in this city. In a city where my kids are vulnerable, do I not want it to be better? Do I not? I'm sick of the nepotism. I'm sick of all of the, you know, my friends and family. Let me grease this palm and let me do this and let's make the community look like they don't know what they're talking about. There's a lot of stuff that I'm just like over it, and I'm going loud. I'm going hard. That's just who I am. I got voted in by the people. I didn't have heavy party support. I didn't have unions and all these people putting money in my account. I went and knocked doors, and guess what? And the people came out and they voted, and that's what got me in. So that's who I work for. I don't work for this administration. I don't work for none of my colleagues. I work for the people. I work for the future of my kids here.
It looks like it appears you're the only one here working for the people.
I could have left a long time ago.
The people need to get the wool out of their eyes around here.
Man, if y'all come through, because I can't. I feel like
how it works and what Jim's gonna learn the hard way is how it works for people like me. Is the bigger shitbags they act like, the more I push back because now I've uncovered a gold mine.
Right. Hold on.
That I swore, counted my fist.
I did not say you
didn't call anybody names. You decided to suspend me without even talking to me. I can talk to him. I'm chasing him.
Dude's a public figure.
I pay my taxes. I am part owner of this building. He is an elected person that people put in his freaking seat. And you know what? He disparaged my name, slandered me in front of a whole room full of people that were this meeting, and decided that I was not able to even speak.
Gentlemen, I just want to, not too often do I get to do this, but I want to thank you guys for honoring your oath today to the Constitution. As chairman says, remove me, you guys did not. It's not too often that I get to appreciate and thank you guys for honoring your oath over the words from the chairman. So I'd like to just take an opportunity and thank you guys because I appreciate it, because I personally don't hate police officers. I don't want to hate. I think everybody wants to love and appreciate police and what they do for the community.
Yeah.
And it's not too often that you guys, that police in general, would honor their oath over a chairman's words to remove somebody. And I appreciate it, and I just want to say thank you to you guys. For me and the Erie County Fam.
We live in a society now where people want to record how they discipline their child. People that might get mad with this video is the people that probably already embarrassed their child. You can discipline your child in their room. Take something away from them. If they act up, well, I'm like, son, you can't play the game.
How you doing?
People in Niagara Falls.
You guys can honor your oath too, to the Constitution.
Okay.
You pull the Constitution out of your pockets in here. Like that was supposed to prove something.
First Amendment, freedom of the press.
You have every right to film out here and there.
Your name is not Dan Erie County.
This isn't Erie County.
Yeah.
Sure it is. On here is Dan Erie County.
Legitimate? Maybe. Official? No.